you'd asked me to name like my top 100 Hearthstone players at the start of last year, he's not even a name that probably would have made that list, but that's a lack of exposure that I had to him. I just hadn't seen him play that much. It's away from being crowned the Hearthstone World Champion, and without further ado, Hunter, Mage.
Yep, Hunterace is on the Mage, and Bloodyface is on the Hunter, so let's not confuse any matters based on names.
Yep.
But I will just say, as well as a side note, we've been praising a lot Bloodyface's technical play and performance on that stage. Hunterace, and it hurts me to say this a little bit, was looking a bit shaky yesterday.
He was,
I feel. He was a bit flustered. He said some things that were bothering him. He was a bit flustered anyway.
Yep.
Wasn't the Hunterace we are used to seeing. The big question, has he sorted it out? Has he got together, you know, refocused, managed to get everything back together again, and he's going to win some games? We're about to see, because this is going to be maybe his toughest opponent yet.
Very possible. I think there was a very exact moment that you can pinpoint in the previous series. If you kind of watch the Hunterace of the first game and a half compared to the Hunterace of the latter game and a half in that series, you'll see night and day difference. The Hunterace through the first half of the series was kind of fidgeting around in his seat, head in hands a lot, you know, exasperated noises and facial expressions, whereas the Hunterace of the latter half was much more focused, much more stoic, much more calm, just in his demeanor. So I think you can see that he got it together during that series even, and now just needs to carry that into this further day.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, from the discovery that we continue to get from the game here and from the early sort of meta calls, I feel like Hunter might have a sideways benefit versus Mage. To be completely honest, yes, if Mage makes massive taunts and big guys early in the game, well, they win most matchups when they do that, so that's not too much of a thing against Hunter. But I do feel like Hunter has consistently got there and maybe gave Mage its biggest problems. Mage has not lost a lot in this tournament, and Hunterace hasn't lost a single game with his Mage yet. But I would like to actually see, and maybe someone get us this, the exact losses that Mage has faced in this tournament as a whole.
In terms of which matchups they
lost. Yeah, what matchups it's lost, yeah. Because I feel like Hunter might be up there, even if it's like twice, you know.
It was crazy. Yesterday, we talked to Hunterace about the build of this Mage deck that he has, and his one unique card is the Henchclan Sneak, is that what it's called? The 3-mana stealth minion. And we talked to him specifically about why you're using the 3-drop instead of the 4-drop. Like, what does this really open up to you? He said the fact that you can play it down so early, if you're playing against a deck like Zoo, for example, they'll often have 3 minions in play at the time you play your Henchclan Sneak. Then, because your minion has stealth, they either have the option to say, all right, I'm just not going to play anything else, or boom, they have to play into mind control tech by playing additional minions. The first time we then saw Henchclan Sneak get play from Hunterace, that was the exact situation. That's exactly what his opponent did, played into mind control tech, and then the mind control tech arguably won the game for him. It's just incredible to see some of that stuff pan out exactly as he planned for his tech card.
It's very deep, isn't it? Deep understanding, knowledge, and basically predicting people's playstyles and just how people will react to a situation. And that's a lot of the game, I feel, is a lot of times, I sometimes pass a complicated turn to make my opponent make more complicated decisions instead of me in that way. And I make them react to certain things I will do instead of being the reactionary player myself. Looking at his opening hand, though, there is a Mountain Giant on 3 Sol, but there is a Hyena available. Yeah. So it's kind of a tough one. I think Bloodyface has done as much as he could to present a threatening board versus a Mountain Giant, which looks quite strange, but it does make sense.
Yeah, and I do really like this this tempoed out Hyena on the previous turn for Bloodyface. This is one of the things that you can leverage. This deck right now is in kind of early game philosophy. It's the new mid-range Paladin or the new control Paladin. The one thing that Paladins always lacked, apart from the period where Rallying Blade was in the game, is ways to do significant amount of damage to the board early. Until True Silver Champion Consecration comes into play, they didn't really have any way to interact with key minions early. So if you had Knife Jugglers and Scavenging Hyenas and all these, you know, very high value minions that sometimes you save for immediate value, you could just slam them on curve against Paladin, and Paladin couldn't really interact with them. That's now very similar to how this Mage operates. So putting high upside, high snowball potential minions down onto the board early is a very, very big deal for this deck.
I can see even now just going face with that Hyena. Brave play. Bloodyface just wants to end this game. He could have killed the Mountain Giant and said, okay, we're even, but you are -1 Mountain Giant. And instead he's just saying, okay, let's go. And the respect, though. What he has done is the Giant can't get a value trade and then a duplicate. So Hunterace actually skipping the Conjurer's Calling, valuing just Voodoo Doll Coin Ping first and saying, well, how do you deal 6 now?
Yeah.
It's actually, I think, impossible. with the deck list? Did it actually deal 6 from nothing on
Hunter
board?
from hand. I mean, you could get there, right? Direwolf, Timberwolf, Springpaw, and the extra links.
Sure. He's already played the Springpaw.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard, unlikely, yeah.
But it's possible.
And leaves nothing on the board, I think. Or, the Timberwolves.
But I do want to just go back and talk about the decision to go face there, because Voodoo Doll is not the only thing that really blew you out. There are 2 card combinations, but obviously you're conceding the game to Khadgar Conjurers. But I guess we can rule that one out, because you're probably losing the game to Khadgar Conjurers in this position anyway. So I guess Voodoo Doll is the one that you really have to look at there and wonder whether that risk was worth the cost of 8 damage in that position.
Yeah, that was my point earlier, just talking about the matchup in general. If Mage does the stupid things, every deck loses. That just happens, right? So, you can't really factor that in terms of an actual deck build. But now Bloodyface just has to work out exactly what he wants to do here. Unleash Headhunter's Hatchet. And the hero power, I guess. He's committed now.
Yeah.
You can't go face with Hyena then backpedal, especially as Hunter. There's no backup plan on turn 5. I wonder... Okay, let's see what comes out from the Conjurer's Calling, because funnily enough, this Hound... Is he not going to... Okay. The Hound just might present some breakpoints in terms of a Unleash the Beast in the following turn, but I guess the Ooze helps with that.
Not more so than the weapon,
in the opposite way, right?
Yeah, I think sequencing was good there from Hunterace. Hit the Conjurer's Call first. If he'd have rolled the 25% chance of double Mountain Giant, he would have played some Fury that turn. But having got at least 1 taunt, he just goes ahead and plays the Ooze. It was a win-win outcome for him.
Now, though, although this is, nice clear, you do have to think, well, that was a lot of stuff from Bloodyface to clear 1 kind of spare minion, and now double Conjurer's Call is available.
Yep.
And I don't see why not, Sol.
Game over.
He even played the fresh one. So now Bloodyface knows there is 2 more in hand. Triple taunt. And I believe there is nothing in the game of Hearthstone that stops this happening. Just for good measure, Bloodyface is going to generate that spell. But that looks dead to me, and Hunterace is off to a quick start. And this Mage still getting the wins, although you wind back. And the big question is...
at least in the short term, got an ongoing career with Hearthstone.
I certainly hope so, because I just want to see more. Bloodyface impresses me every single time I see him, and I definitely want to see more plays like that. So Bloodyface is going to be on the Mage, as we see there, in Hunterace on the actual Control Warrior. And I don't think we've actually cast too much Control Warrior. I feel like we've all just been throwing bombs around, to be honest, Sol. At least me and you.
You might be right, yeah.
First Control Warrior game of the tournament. But this is, I think, an extremely one-sided matchup. Bloodyface has some anti-aggro tech, such as Baron Garden, 1 Mossy Horror, as well as double Dragonmaw Scorcher and double Sun Fury Protector, as well as the Mind Control techs. The top end, the Mountain Giant, of course, but then Alexstrasza and Rabble Bouncers and 2 Crowd Roasters are really the top end there, along with the Astromancers, which is standard. So I would say about as 50-50 as you can go, at least in terms of amount of cards of late game to early game.
Yeah, definitely not the ultimate greed list that you'd want to have against Warrior. And because of that, and because of the quality of Hunterace's hand, and because of the quality of Hunterace as a player in these incredibly stretched out resource battle, card for card, battle of the grind kind of situations, I'll make a bold prediction that Hunterace might just win this game from this position.
Yeah, I mean, if ever there's a time it's going to happen, it's when there's Boom ready to curve on 7, and
Boom on 2nd.
That'd be a really good card. And Bloodyface having no Mountain Giant is pretty
and
key.
no Book of Spectres either. That's what
true,
really was the clincher for me. The Khadgar is there, so there's a lot of explosivity able to come very quickly. But Bloodyface is some number of turns away from doing that. He's going to need to pick up a Mountain Giant, or else he's going to have to wait until he can develop one of his minions fairly. Play an Astromancer for 7, play a Crowd Roaster for 7. And then if he's going to combine that with Conjurer's Call, that's a 10-mana turn. So if he's waiting all the way until then to make a huge play happen, Hunterace will be very nicely established with his own Dr. Boom. Let me be clear. this is a very favored matchup for the mage. I am just, you know, sticking my neck out here and saying with the current state of the draws, Hunterace might actually be in a decent spot.
Interesting point there with the Ray of Frost. So Bloodyface is very early on revealing what that discovered spell is, to just buy a little bit more time away from this Acolyte. And now the Scale Worm can clean it up in one hit. So nice play, but the information is there now. Hunterace knows there's one Ray of Frost left, and no more random cards available quite yet. Big thing for me is not so bad right now because the coin has been used, but all the 4-drops that just run right into Dinomatic just feels terrible. Like, I feel like the 4-drop turn just feels terrible to play no matter what against a warrior, because you're like, well, this probably just dies and there's nothing I can do about it. They end up with a minion and I don't.
Lot of options here for Hunterace. Shield block is viable. Slamming the 5-3 to cycle is viable. Slamming the 2-2 just to mitigate damage off the board this turn and then set up for your Ziliax on the following turn to get rid of the 5-3. That's also very viable.
We ever just slam Warpath?
What now?
Because you've got to just consider...
Oh, use the card Slam and use the card Warpath. Yes, sorry. I was like, Slam Warpath as in play Warpath, you know? Slam it. I was just like, wait, what does that do?
Okay. So Hunterace choosing to take a bit of damage here.
I like this. So there's the options that I kind of laid out, like I said, the Slam would minimize the most damage this turn if you did it on the 2-2. It would then set up for Ziliax on the following turn. But you're pretty confident your opponent's going to play another minion alongside this. At least the kind of turns that put you in under any trouble, your opponent's going to play another minion alongside this. So I like slamming on the 5-1, on the 5-3, because it gets you closer to more key draws in your deck and gives you a good chance of getting a decent Warpath out on the following turns.
Yeah, really interesting, because my worry was, because of this slam, who feels better? Okay. Who feels better about, say, a Conjurer's Calling on the Scale Worm here?
I think Hunterace does.
Okay. Oh, it's Harrison Jones off.
That's a big play from Bloodyface to go pressure with the Harrison Jones, because it's not like if your opponent is just running like Weapons Project in their deck and that's it, or if you're playing against a bomb deck where, sure, denying a bomb in your deck is impactful, but it's not the be-all and end-all of your win condition. This is a Super Collider deck from Hunterace, right?
No.
No?
No, it's not.
Then this seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, double Omega Devastator on 4-drops, but then we go into Brawl, Dynamatic, Harrison, and Ziliax.
Oh, my mistake. I was looking at Bloodyface's list. That's my mistake. I apologize.
Yeah, and the shock there from Sol basically about the Harrison is that Super Collider is one of the anti-Big Mage cards, and maybe the anti-Big Mage cards, apart from Dr. Boom, which is the anti-opponent card.
Anti-everything card, yeah.
But yeah, Super Collider is a real problem.
So in that case,
you can't really play around it.
Right. So if there's only Weapons Projects in the deck that Bloodyface has to worry about, then I'm actually a big fan of this Harrison Jones play.
It's not really getting any better, right? So why not drop it down now? I like this. This is just lined up reasonably well in that all the time Bloodyface is like, this Brawl still kind of sucks if you want to play it. And most importantly, denying armor gain to stop a shield slam on the Mountain Giant to clean it up that way.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why having the 5-4 in play was so key here. It kept pressure up to the point where Hunterace has gone into this turn with 0 armor, and he needs to have exactly 0 armor to play around shield block, armor up, shield slam. So that extra piece of pressure from the Harrison Jones is so key, so vital, and so intelligent from Bloodyface to be able to put him in this position. It's easy to look on at this game and say, well, he's just played his biggest minion on curve every turn, and then just curved into the Mountain Giant. But Harrison Jones is a card a lot of people would have held there.
Funnily enough, Bloodyface is, when you combine the board and the hand, it's very 50-50. The board looking fantastic, and there is Astromancer, but then there's the Rabble Bouncer, the Mossy Horror, and then the Roaster, which kind of sucks. Hunterace just dropping a Devastator. And this was great because for Bloodyface, because this is a bad turn from Hunterace, to be completely honest. Yeah, but you have to do something.
Is it too late to retract my prediction?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm sure you said Hunterace wins this 100% of the time, and if he doesn't, I will eat a hat.
Now you're putting words in my mouth, and I will not be putting a hat in mine.
Okay. What about deck list? If we're going to go on Admirables,
definitely not. Yeah, but Bloodyface drew the Giant in a timely manner. Sorry, that's what changed from you know, when I made that bold prediction up until now, where Hunterace is just in a miserable position. You know, that equation was based on Bloodyface not finding the Giant early, and he did, and that's just night and day.
There you come crawling back with the excuses. I've got a little suggestion now.
Yeah.
If Hunterace can stabilize, does he have a Banker and Omega Devastator? Just to get another one in the deck. The card's pretty good versus Mage. Like, it's not too bad, is it? Like, are you really trying for Elysianas in this matchup?
Wouldn't be the dumbest idea. Yeah, I mean, your opponent always... Like, if the Warrior is winning this, it's likely through fatigue a lot of the time, where you just kill all of their stuff. So they're going to get there a lot quicker than you because they're casting Book of Spectres. So yeah, a lot of the time, it just makes sense. Okay. Hunterace giving himself just a 25% chance to absolutely open up this game for him, basically, here with this play. Whoa! Bloodyface can't believe it, and Hunterace, I think there was a slight smile, which he evolved into a cover my face with my hand, and then just cool guy nod. Style it out. Yeah. Style it out.
Cool guy nod.
We're good.
But that was good. I'm not going to lie to anyone. Giving yourself a 25% chance to maybe win the game when it was almost certainly lost.
Yeah. Paid
off big time.
And I like it, honestly. There was no other real play that appealed to me. You couldn't just play Boom there. It was miserable. You were dead. It's like, what, a Mega Devastator again doesn't challenge the board again. You're just dead. Like, it's just... He had to go for that play. It was all that he had available for him. Or shield block Fish for what? Some magical card in his deck that doesn't exist?
And the biggest point there is Brawl Armor Up puts you in the same position the next turn, except you don't have a Brawl, which was
and your opponent always has a minion.
Yes, that's what I mean. You're auto under pressure, and then you just don't have Brawl anymore, and it's like, well, this is a problem.
Yep.
And that's changed things up a lot, because this might just be enough breathing room here for Dr. Boom to come down, and the second Boom's down. There's a whole lot more removal in this deck.
There sure is.
Twilight Drake?
It's got to be. I just don't see any other line. Bloodyface is just going to be trying to go for kind of regular pressure here. He has Twilight Drake into potentially Khadgar Astromancer, or just Astromancer on its own on the follow-up.
As opposed to baby pressure?
Yes. But now, the Dr. Boom being able to activate these shield slams relieves a lot of pressure for Hunterace.
There is still Khadgar into Astromancer next turn, which is going to get some work done. Obviously, bear in mind, Bloodyface saw the Desperation Brawl, and then he's just seen a shield slam, so maybe he's just going to go for it and hope.
That's what I said as you were formulating your dank Rick and Morty reference and clearly not listening to me.
So?
We must band together.
Yeah, I like it. You just got to get the pressure going. These are 4-drops, so there's a chance that they are very, very small. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So about that.
But what does it mean?
It means that Warpath is going to decimate this board state. That's what it means.
It's not that good, is it?
No.
Fire Tree Witch Doctor?
They're dead. They're just dead next turn. His board's getting Warpathed.
Time runs out on me.
Yikes. I'd like to remind you that you retracted your prediction
No. I gave you the out and you turned it down. The prediction still stands. Oh boy. This Warpath is the juice. I can't emphasize how huge it is that you are clearing your opponent's Khadgar turn with not a Brawl in this matchup.
Oh, he leaves a 5-1 up.
Yes, well, he doesn't have to.
He can shield slam.
Yeah.
But that's the question, right? Is it worth it because the only thing that will save Bloodyface is, say, Conjurer's Calling on the 7-drop? So I think, is shield slam that bad? You're going into a Mega Devastator next turn. I think actually you do shield slam.
Wow.
Never mind. Yep, Hunterace's face. Unimpressed. I think that one.
Taking Boom Reaver, and he's just going to triple Warpath.
And just shield slam the 7-drop. They are only 4 drops from the Twilight Drake.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, it's his... He definitely went halfway there.
Okay. I'm happy with this. Yeah, 1 mech in hand versus 4 extra health, right? It seems reasonable. It's a little bit worse than that because you still have to deal with the 4-1 in the future, but you're in Dr. Boom form, you have 10 mana, and you have an Omega Devastator in your hand. So your ability to deal with things that your opponent does is near infinite at this point. I think
as well, specifically a 4-1 is extremely easy because there's 3 hero powers that deal with it outside of Discover a mech that can just rush. So
yeah, Zap, Microbots, and the Whirlwind, right?
Thing, yeah. And now, Bloodyface would love a Book of Spectres. He's just getting stuff down. Trying to avoid a rushing minion, deal with the 4-1. Nice little play there. Mossy Horror not going to get value in this matchup. Luciana doesn't change much, but also doesn't matter. Boom Reaver's going to come down. Big pull from the Boom Reaver there.
Got him!
Planned to perfection as he gets the 1-2 out just to chip off the old Twilight Drake. Hunterace, truly a god.
What must it be like to be Hunterace? Just have everything work out smoothly for you.
And be a lot taller.
How tall is Hunterace?
A lot taller than me.
I don't take... Obviously, you as a short...
He's taller than you.
As a shorter gentleman, you notice when people are tall. You know, when someone's just an inch or two taller than me, I don't really notice because I'm not just craning up at them like you would.
I just look at people's, like, chests.
Yeah.
That's it. So it is definitely... But Hunterace is a lot taller than you, I think.
Okay.
Him and Viper, I'm going to go out there as the 2 tallest players here.
Fair enough.
Arena's full.
And then our Bloodyface just... When you taunting up an already taunted minion,
yeah,
you know you're feeling bad about life.
Yeah. Bloodyface is just kind of gassed out right now. He needs Book of Spectres immediately.
He can silence the Boom Reaver.
It's not the worst play.
Why not, to be completely honest?
Yeah.
All Hunterace has to do now, there's 2 things. 1, kind of hope Book of Spectres isn't drawn. And 2, not let Bloodyface have some minion on the board that can just random, conjure in and out for him.
Yeah.
And just silence, just owl it and kill it off. He isn't going to. Kind of surprised me, actually. This is a full clear, but I think he could have done that anyway, right?
It's a full clear with better board development than he does with the owl,
Okay,
right? Like
sure.
he doesn't push, but he wasn't really getting to push anyway if you were using the 7/7 to trade, and spending 3 mana on a Spider Tank on a Nightmare Amalgam is better than spending 3 mana on an Iron Beak Owl if you're going to do the same thing anyway.
Well, Bloodyface has 1 turn is the way I see it. These 5 drops are going to have to be magnifique.
Say magnifique. Nope.
That's the problem, though. Against Dr. Boom, they're never going to be enough.
Nope.
Because a mech kills them from hand.
This is the nightmare scenario. When you are out of cards against Dr. Boom, your win rate is as close as makes no difference, 0%. Because it doesn't matter what 1 card you draw, it cannot stick to the board against Dr. Boom. There are some extremely rare exceptions to that, like Forest's Aid, maybe, if they don't have specific things, can stick something to the board in 1 card. But it's so rare that having no resources, staring across the board at a Dr. Boom form is the single most soul-crushing experience in Hearthstone right now.
To a certain extent, it almost might be better, and I'm not saying for Bloodyface's previous turn at all, I think it was fine, but it might be better to just pass a few turns, hope you don't die, and actually be able to combo together something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds bad.
The 7/5 on the board is the big problem with doing that, though,
exactly, yeah.
He just gets clocked so fast.
Which is the caveat of not this turn, not this game, but sometimes you do have to just wait and say, I need to do 1 big turn instead of a lot of little ones. Because as we can see, Hunterace can choose from a plethora of options that deal with this board just in his hand, never mind the board he already has. Look, it's just done, tested. You can just play Warpath for one, it just doesn't matter, it's fine.
I want to say that didn't go particularly well for Hunterace.
And he can still clear easily.
Yeah, I mean...
Warpath for 1 push face, that's what I want to see.
I'm searching for whatever the opposite of a silver lining is for Hunterace right now.
Don't know. I'll think about that one.
Book of Spectres. Finally, the card that he's needed this entire time. Finds himself some gas. But even then...
1 last slap across the face there for Bloodyface.
Not a good day to be Bloodyface, apparently.
And there is the... Uh-oh. Salt's going to be wrong twice in a day. But the phrase "better late than never" is often true. I don't think it applies to that Book of Spectres in this game specifically.
Yeah, it's not universal, is it?
No.
Like a punch to the face, better never than late.
Better never than... I'm so confused.
Would you want to be punched in the face
right, okay.
later or never?
I thought you were saying two separate phrases. I was like, wait, what? You just said one wrong?
Like a punch to the face is just an idiom now in Raven's world.
I never know. You quote a lot of things I don't know, Sol. It's probably from another obscure show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still minions that aren't mechs that still have rush in this deck. And Hunterace.
Okay, then.
Obviously off the back of that brawl, but he's not playing Super Collider, and he's still making this work.
It's crazy. And it really is the lack of Book of Spectres. You know, we can go back and forth on this prediction that I made at the start, but it's just looking at the lack of Book of Spectres in Bloodyface's hand and the presence of the Dr. Boom in Hunterace's hand. That's what makes it possible. I'd still say it's unfavored from that position, and you can see how that played out. Hunterace basically took a 25%er to win this game and won it. That's what happened, right? That kind of illustrates to you that he was still in an unfavored position, but I felt like it was a reasonable thing just to call out and say, hey guys, there's a good chance that Hunterace can win this game. You know, he's not a favored position, but he wins a good chunk of the time.
There we go. The Discover of the Mage card was not enough. Maybe Book of Spectres Discovered was going to be better for him there. But it wasn't to be, and Hunterace just beat the Mage with the Warrior, and that was not...
In that game? Probably not, right? So
yeah,
the takeaway message from that is that if Warrior draws well and gets Dr. Boom, they are nigh unbeatable when in the hands of a top player. So then you have to look at your overall strategy coming into this tournament and think about whether ban Warrior should have been the world you were living in.
Yeah, well, let's find out as we are moving on with this series. Hunterace, arguably the best player in the world, highest points earner at least, is going to be going up against Bloodyface. He has his Shaman, and Bloodyface has the Rogue. And outside of the crazy matchups we've seen in this tournament, you've got to imagine Hunterace is prepped for this one.
Oh, yes. I honestly feel like these kind of mid-rangey, control-leaning Shamans that we're seeing are kind of in a response to how much Rogue that you're expecting to see.
I think it was, does this deck actually survive and then wear out Rogue? Yes.
Seen it happen.
I'll bring it.
On multiple occasions.
I'll bring it. Bring it to Worlds. Okay, so far, again, you know, just in case you've missed some previous matches and previous days of this tournament.
Previously, on the Hearthstone Championship Tour.
Hunterace broke down his Shaman deck with about 20 minutes discussion on every single card to us that had ever been included and thought about including. But the big point I want to get to is Twilight Drake and Giggling Inventors. So this deck does have some, because I feel like these control decks have Walking Fountain and then no other minions most of the time. It feels like. But this does have some, you know, middle beef. There's the Acolyte of Pains early as well to help. Wild Pyromancers are a question mark we've discussed before in this deck. But my point is, Hunterace can play stuff. He isn't just removing all game every game.
They have not impressed me, the Wild Pyromancers, personally. There was a game where he drew Wild Pyromancer against Zoo and never wanted to play it. And that suggests to me that you're not a good Wild Pyromancer deck. And what I mean by that is that here's the list of spells that cost 3 or less.
No, be quiet. Hagatha, 5 mana, carry on.
The list of spells that cost 3 or less in his deck: Lightning Storm, a couple of Farsights, 1 Witch's Brew, 1 Earthshock, 2 Ancestral Healing. You know, it's not the big Zap, Voltaic Burst, all of those kind of extra tools that you have in there to really, really make that Pyromancer very effective.
Speaking of efficiency, 5 mana Hagatha.
4 mana Hex.
5 mana Hagatha's Scheme. This is actually huge, though. We're kind of joking around a little bit. But Hagatha, 1, is going to continue to keep Hunterace's hand decently filled. With as I said, he plays a decent amount of minions in the deck.
Yeah.
And then most importantly, now the Scheme starts ticking along.
Yeah.
Those are almost 2 board wipes. And if we're talking value for later, Walking Fountain, which will create a spell, and then Swamp Queen Hagatha, which will create effectively, what, 4 spells? 2 from the minion it creates, 1 from the Swamp Queen being played, and 1 from the minion being played, with Hagatha Hero, Hagatha the Witch, actually live. So Hunterace has got some juice is what I'm saying.
It's convoluted, obtuse, and confusing, but the maths checks out on what you said.
Perfect.
Yeah. Shooting for the stars.
Absolute bullseye. But okay, we've just brought down Hunterace, his hand, and almost certainly overall game plan. What's Bloodyface going to do? We know what he wants to do, but what does he need to do to actually win this game with our ultimate knowledge of these hands?
You're asking me how a man beats a 5-mana Hagatha?
Well,
Can I have some time on that one?
You can have 10 seconds as I explain Hunterace's likelihood, at least in my view, of just slamming Hagatha and having it down for the late game and for the rest of the game going forward, especially that he has a turn 6, he has a turn 7, and a turn 8 minion choice.
Just didn't get in there in time. I was going to say, I wonder if there's any merit to this Twilight Drake, because
Definitely.
the Hagatha is concealed information, right? I think, you know, a better question, instead of me trying to say what can Bloodyface do to beat a 5-mana Hagatha, is what pitfall might Bloodyface fall into, not realizing there's a Hagatha that's cheaper than it should be in hand, right? And I think that surprise factor is something that Hunterace is playing towards right now, because he wants to use this to really get a blowout turn on a board that Bloodyface is not expecting to be able to be cleared by Hagatha.
True, but that only lasts till turn 8, right? So there is just a limited time till that becomes a huge blowout factor,
okay,
I would say.
As far as Bloodyface is concerned, he could be playing around 3 damage AoE already if he's considering Hagatha's Scheme, right? So Hagatha's Scheme can be a card that you just put from your mind, right? Because this rogue deck doesn't play minions that outscale Hagatha's Scheme.
You can't deal with it.
They just don't exist. So if Scheme happens, Scheme happens. The X factor is that Hagatha the Witch, which right here, this could be the big bait turn, right? Like if 2 Dread Corsairs come down right now, this can be the turn that Hunterace has been waiting for.
My only worry is something I believe we've seen previously in this tournament already, is when you are forced into a unfortunate Hagatha because you need Hagatha down, as opposed to having already played a safe Hagatha right now. But knock, knock, who's there? Hagatha before turn 8. Goodbye, Dread Corsair.
If there is not a sea, a wall, a deluge of Jabatids in the chat right now, I don't know what you're doing, Twitch chat.
Just listen to that crowd. They got it. And now...
Say what you want. It's very lucky to Farsight and get yourself a 5-mana Hagatha. Incredibly fortunate. Hunterace took the hand he was dealt and executed it perfectly.
It turned out very, very well. Just as much, though, you do have to think to a certain extent that there are a lot of good minions that could have turned out there. I mean, Walking Fountain would have done a similar job, not quite as backbreaking. But I'm just, like, my point just to finish was when you are forced into a bad Hagatha because you just need Hagatha down in the health is when things can get a little bit tricky. But you quite rightly presumed this was going to happen, and it did, so good job.
One last caveat. I agree with you. More often when you're forced into an 8-mana Hagatha, though. If you're forced into a 5-mana Hagatha, you can often do something alongside it that will dig you out of it as well. But back in current reality...
One more caveat. No, I'm joking.
No, I will have the last word.
Ethereal Lackey does make some funky things happen. Another Eviscerate is available for just extra damage.
Jeez.
And in another world, Vanish is a considered pick just for the surprise of actually, no, you're not ahead.
Oh, boy.
But double Abyss, Waggle Pick, Deadly Poison, Green Skin,
Double Deadly Poison.
Oh, sorry, yeah, double Deadly Poison.
No ooze for Hunterace.
I saw a glance over.
2 copies in his deck. None in his hand.
Okay, though, here we go. Voltaic Burst is live if he wants it, and I don't see why not. It feels like it can get the work done. Soul the Murloc, you can't really guarantee a board outside of the minion, and Earthshock versus exactly Van Cleef, which is a bit niche.
He took the Earthshock.
It's Van Niche.
Very good.
Scheme seems good to me, though. Oh, went Feral. Okay.
Feral, yeah. I like Feral.
I guess you've already got a scheme for one big wipe, and then Feral does the backwards job of scheme to a certain extent.
Shock Feral Spirit. Oh my, oh jeez, calm down.
No swearing on stream, Sol, because I feel like you nearly got there.
3 Eviscerates will do things to a man, Raven.
Yep. Maybe even kill him in a game of Hearthstone.
I wonder. I was just kind of winding back. The options of his Ethereal Lackey, one of them was Abyss, Vanish, Fan of Knives, right? I wonder about the Fan of Knives in that pick, with how much damage he does have built up, but one of the big roadblocks to that being
Ryan.
Giggling Inventor. Yeah, Ryan, exactly. if a Giggling Inventor comes down, Fan of Knives is a great tool to be able to push damage through that still. So I wonder whether maybe that translates into more damage over the long term, but it's hard to like work out the combo that Bloodyface has gone here with his picks. Damage plus damage equals damage. It's one of the most effective combos in Hearthstone.
Yeah, there's 14 damage from hand as well. I love this play because what you got to consider as well is, one, it sets up exact lethal from hand. And also, if Hunterace has the use, he plays 2 mana, he's probably bounces something good, and also he spends the banner, which just reduces what he can do that turn.
Yeah.
This is huge. Hunterace head in hands now, because that's just an unfortunate turn, and he can't see triple Eviscerate with the Kobold Lackey to actually prop the combo effect.
This is an 8 damage weapon from Bloodyface, which means the play he's made here also beats Walking Fountain on curve, because Walking Fountain would only heal for 8.
For the weapon, yeah.
The weapon covers that healing, and then, as you said, Avis, Kobold Lackey, 14 damage from hand.
I guess
he's dead.
Oh, wait.
He died.
Even if he drew the Ancestral Healing, it wouldn't matter, would it?
It taunts.
Oh, yeah, sorry, the taunt would matter. So Ancestral Healing would have been an out.
That's fair.
To either draw or get from the Haggatha. And I don't know about you, Sol, but that looks like an extremely dead Hunterace to me this game. And here we go.
What did we say? Damage plus damage plus damage. Hunterace cannot believe his eyes.
Look at his eyes.
That is about as close to shocked as that man is ever going to look, and then the shock gives way to disappointment. That was a semi-final spot just melted away from right in front of Hunterace's eyes. He will have thought he was very close to getting that one over the line. And so much damage coming through.
And let's remember, this was off the back of a early Haggatha.
In his opening hand for the mulligan, he sure does. That is a huge deal.
He's going to let that tick up over the next, 5, 6, 7, maybe even more turns. And when a card in hand reads 5 mana, destroy the board pretty much no matter what, you're looking pretty good against a deck like Bloodyface's Mage.
Yeah. I gave this breakdown when I thought we were going into a Shaman matchup previously, but it is a weird one because they have all the answers, right? There is the Earthshock for the Twilight Drakes, there is the Hexes for the Mountain Giants, so they can, for a while, with a good draw, kind of shut down and stop the board from snowballing. But if the opponent just waits, just builds up a hand size with Book of Spectres, and then just waits until like turn 6 when they can go 3 mana Giant Conjurer's Calling immediately, that can just be hard for the Shaman to shut down. There's only one card that really does it, and that's Haggatha's Scheme, and even then they have to buy an additional couple of turns to get to that 8 AoE that they need to clear the board. If the opponent's done it on turn 6, it's not up there yet.
Yeah, it definitely feels like akin to a rhythm game where timing literally is everything, because you need to just jump through those hoops just at the right time, or otherwise the Shaman's going to have the one-by-one answers, as you were speaking, like, oh, 1 Giant, well, 1 Hex, 1 Twilight Drake, 1 Earthshock. Doesn't really work out, but Hunterace using those Pyros in the most positive ways. 2 mana 3/2s that might go face.
3/2. Get them.
Just counteract the Fury Protector, though.
3/2.
Again.
Get him.
Is there a reason to hold? I don't feel like there is. I don't know what you...
Aggro deck.
Pyromancer.
Let's go.
There has to be a lot of heals. A lot of Witch's Brew repeated on Pyromancer to be able to clear a mage board.
Right. I guess this is the weird situation that you create by playing 2 Pyromancers.
Because you can just trade one in first.
You can just play your own Twilight Drake and keep going face.
I mean, all that.
Yeah.
And this is a funny situation because the likelihood of, say, 2 4-drops beating this board is just unlikely, to be quite honest. Just because the 3 attack from the Pyromancers kind of covers the bases, right?
Yeah. Weird line. Weird line from Hunterace, but you can tell he was prepared for the Twilight Drake coming down, because as soon as he did, Hunterace, a very careful and considered player, just immediately knew what his response was. He knew...
Code for slow?
Yes. He, but I mean, not slow for no reason, It's not like he plays slowly and doesn't get results out of it. That's why I use the word considered, because you don't have a win rate as high as Hunterace's is without using that time to find the most lines, find the best lines the largest percentage of the time.
Sometimes slow things are okay.
Yeah. Agreed. Like a punch to the face. I'd rather have a slow punch to the face than a fast punch to the face.
Yeah, won't really gain much force, will it?
No.
Is that classed as a punch then?
Yeah.
Time runs
A
out
fist bump to the face.
Maybe.
But he knew. Hunterace just knew that, hey, if a Twilight Drake comes down, I'm just not going to bother thinking about the Earthshock. I'm just going to play out my Twilight Drake and just keep going face.
And I was wondering whether this becomes a very strange game of minion chicken, where they just keep going face and keep playing more stuff, because I feel Hunterace would actually lose that game.
Oh, yeah.
He runs out of minions
Yes.
to play very, very quickly, and by that I mean now.
In a heartbeat,
Yeah.
he would lose that race.
Which is interesting to me why Bloodyface chose to trade. Is my point there. Obviously,
Because he wants his giant to live through any means necessary.
yeah.
He has a Conjurer's Calling in his hand. That's the deck.
I was just meaning your giant lives on 1 health.
Yeah. 1 health is a lot here because that Pyromancer can't cast a spell and then attack.
No, but there are a lot of
I wonder.
cards that can do the damage, I guess.
Name one that's efficient.
Earthshock.
When there's a Twilight Drake on the board?
1 mana, deal 1 damage.
That's not efficient.
Two exactly 1
That's
health
not
minion.
efficient.
2 exactly 1 health minion.
No.
There's little time.
You want a 0 mana card that does that?
There's a 0 mana card that does 2. There's more than 1 0 mana card that does 2.
Does Overload really count?
Yes.
I don't know with the Lightning Storm though.
But this is my point, right? Look how ugly Hunterace's turn had to be to deal with that that Mountain Giant.
I guess. I think the key thing is that there was little follow-up from Hunterace anyway, apart from yeah, nothing.
But Bloodyface doesn't know that, right?
I mean, is there really follow-up in the deck at that point?
Well, he could have just spent the turn casting Farsight, played a mind control tech, like spending mana on things that are a lot more beneficial.
You know what? There are 2 Acolytes that I do actually keep forgetting about in the
there
deck.
you go.
So you know what? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, agreed.
If you just leave him 3 minions on the board and just goes trade your giant, okay, now I just have freedom to do whatever I want.
It's just going to be Scale Hide.
Arena's
Oh, okay.
full.
Just going to try and front load the Rabble Bouncer, and it has a double benefit here of it's a threat that hasn't done anything yet. It's, it's kind of flies under the radar a little bit because Hunterace has to consider it as a problem because it's a 7-drop. But if he hexes it, then it's a win for Bloodyface because there's plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good play, actually. I was looking at just the Scale Worm just to push 4 more damage and 2 4-drops on the board. Okay-ish health.
Yeah.
Not an overcommittal, but this is actually fine as well. There aren't really a lot of minions you need to taunt block with this Rabble Bouncer against Shaman anyway.
Yeah. But Hunterace will be feeling okay. Not fantastic, but okay. His Hagatha's scheme is essentially scaling with the turn count right now. So as long as he can deny Mountain Giant into Conjurer's Calling, which would be 8 health minions 100% of the time, from turn 7 onwards, he'll feel confident that he can take down a Conjurer's Call board. It really does have to get up above 7 and 8 health. Essentially, more health than the turn of the game that we're on. That's what you're aiming for at this point as Bloodyface, and that's what Hunterace is hoping not to see.
I do wonder if Hagatha's scheme is ever going to be used in such a weird fashion to actually keep the turn time account for players that are planning to go to turn time. Because you can remember which turn you drew it on, right? And then just the scheme does the rest.
Yeah. Is that more efficient than a tally chart? I don't know.
I don't see them making notes, Sal.
Fair enough.
Again, yeah, Bloodyface could do a similar trick here and just crowd roast the 1-3 if he wanted to. If he doesn't want to open up any draws, that was a weird one.
Use Twilight Drake number 2.
This Giggling Inventor is actually a nightmare right now. It's so easy to kill, but
Job's done.
I can't without something like exactly Hagatha or the scheme right now.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't kill it, well, that's just going to create more 2/7 drops. But look at this. I love this card, the Sapper. Look out for a plot twist deck from Raven himself coming out soon.
I'm sure they're just waiting with bated breath to see that.
Look,
that
I've said
hot little nugget drop on Twitter.
I've said plot twist and Sapper. Like, if you're not interested, then you don't like Hearthstone.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
It does deal too, by the way, for any minion that any friendly minion that dies.
It does the thing that you saw happen.
Yes.
There you go.
Giving too much credit.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because of Conjurer's Calling. Conjurer's Calling kills the minion, right?
Yeah, you
so it's
destroy the
actually
minion
got a
first,
3 mana, double up on minions, deal 2 to face.
Right.
It's really a good card.
Yeah.
It's definitely Sapper that makes
It's one
it
of
good,
the, it's
though.
one of the factors that can be a strength or weakness of the card. Where sometimes when you're trying to use it in removal spots, you'd much rather it was a transform effect. Like if there's just some huge big Death Rattle mech that someone's built on the board,
Does actually kill them.
you'd like it to be transform a minion into 2 copies of a different minion. But
Into this locator.
Ooh, I like the front load now, just because Alexstrasza Go is a very interesting play.
Alexstrasza Go is a very interesting
Because-
play.
Normally, just to let you guys know, there's only a single Witch's Brew in Hunterace's list.
Yep.
But also, if you Alexstrasza and push, there can't be AoE and a lot of Witch's Brew. So your opponent has to, forgo one of those things normally. And if you do, then you're normally just dead anyway.
Can we just giggling and chill this turn from Hunterace's position? Mage, not a great deck at leveraging against the Annoytrons, right? They very often just have to go through it honestly with the minions. There is Dragonmaw Scorcher. It's about the only thing that they can use
Conjurer's
apart from their hero
Calling.
power. Just Conjurer's calling the Annoytron. Yeah, just push through
Hey,
for
maybe.
lethal.
That could be lethal, yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna ridicule that play because you may see it happen at some point in competitive Hearthstone if it's lethal.
Go for Walking Fountain here. Kill off the Ziliax. He can reheal it up with Ancestral Healing.
Beaked Lightning. It's very interesting.
Good Lightning and
That's
Ancestral Healing.
extremely good here, actually.
Wow.
To take the Divine Shield and create the breakpoint.
That was a good Hagatha spell.
Yep. He's going to use the Ancestral Healing to keep it around. Not a huge value Ancestral Healing. Normally, you're looking for the dream scenario with those Walking Fountains. Make both trades happen, then get the Ancestral Healing to come down afterward.
Do you think he could have gone the other way and left the Sapper alive, or is it just too much of a fear for the Conjurer?
I don't think so. I don't see what's the upside of it.
He has a 4/8.
Right, you trade more first and then you get the healing afterwards.
Because then the Sapper does attacks in.
I can see it.
He'll doesn't actually kill the Walking Fountain and then makes 2 7 drops. Not great, obviously. I understand the downside.
Yeah.
But you left more often than not with a Walking Fountain.
There's merit to it, for sure. I think you're left weak to Crowd Roaster in that position, more so than doing
you know
it that
what?
way.
Yep. And leading into only leading into 9 mana, so you wouldn't see Crowd Roaster and Conjurer's Calling. But
Yep.
yeah, you are right. And now, frankly, the scary moment there was the removal. And now it's am I really scheming this?
Nah. This is prime giggling inventor territory. There's an 8/8 on the board that you don't want to deal with. Just put 2 Annoytrons in the way.
So there's extra Witch's Brew for free, which means that the healing now is more readily available for Hunterace.
Yep. And after the Alex comes down as well.
Tricky. I actually think I like the Scorcher here. Because Giant... Ooh, nearly fell off my chair. Glad I don't think anyone saw that. I think Giant into Conjurer's Calling is something he has to save because of the fear of Scheme. You can't go deep and then just get 1 scheme and then it's oh god, it's going to take me another few turns to build up again.
Yeah. There's a window, sorry to cut you off there. Turn 7, 8, 9, there's a window where you can kind of disregard Hagatha's scheme, because if they've drawn it at any point around turn 2, 3, 4, etc., it hasn't got up there to those big giant numbers yet. Once you hit turn 10 and beyond, they can have drawn Hagatha's scheme through a very wide range of turns, and it still kills all of your minions. Plus, you factor in how good all these players are at hand tracking. Bloodyface probably has a very good idea that that card on the very far left that was the only card kept in the mulligan for Hunterace is the scheme, and he's keeping track of exactly how much damage it's doing.
Yeah, and also there's been positions where, I'm just thinking of the cards that would be kept against Mage as the Shaman deck, Scheme, and then what? Hex and Acolyte of Pain, maybe?
Hagatha.
Hagatha, I guess, but he's seen Hagatha, there are options where Hex would have been played almost certainly.
Yep.
So guess what? It's probably a scheme.
It's scheme, yeah.
And I think he does it now, actually. Scheme Twilight Drake, definitely not the end of the world. Generates an additional spell, and it gains the board back.
It does. It's a low-impact board to scheme, though.
He takes a big swing if he doesn't. That's my worry. If he doesn't heal or scheme, a lot of things could happen where he just dies. Or at least gets very close to it. And again, I feel like any turn you're forced into Witch's Brew or Death feels just like a delaying the inevitable from what we've seen so far. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. I do like this a lot.
I think he has to do it. There's, you know, you can try and just Witch's Brew heal up and just say, you know, I'm going to take the hit. Your opponent is going to hit you in the face with their minions, kill your 1/2, and say,
pass.
Your turn.
Yep.
Same spot. And you're just down a Witch's Brew.
No, Fire Tree Witch Doctor has this nice added benefit of basically replacing itself in hand, which keeps this Mountain Giant at a reasonable level.
Bloodyface, after seeing the scheme get used, does not just immediately go in with his Mountain Giant. Crowd Roaster, pretty effective in that spot. I guess if there is a second lower damage scheme in hand for Hunterace, which there is entitled to be at this point, then playing his 2 giants into that 4/5 means
the Drake,
that he's able to take one of them out at least.
And Crowd Roaster is still a threat because Hunterace knows there's a Conjurer's Calling in hand.
Yeah, big threat.
Because it's the second one, the twin spelled.
Right.
Which means that Hunterace, every single 7-drop has to be considered a huge threat. One, it pushes 7, and Hunterace is only on 15, but also it could push so much more in the turns following.
This looks like a Swamp Queen turn to me, which means Farsight is going with it, which means Farsight probably comes first, so you can look for an out. There is that Hex he's been waiting for the whole game, but I think, for me, potentially still a Swamp Queen turn?
I think he's afraid of dying.
Okay.
There's a Mystery Mage spell solve, which means he could die. I am going to say Pyroblast and Fireball, but those cards exist.
They do.
And I don't think you want to be knocked out of the World Championship if you've got a better play. Not off the back of just this game, but you don't want to take a loss if you can stay ahead.
That's the trap, though, right? Like, just because you can think of a random card that you die to does not necessarily make one play better than the other.
I never said it was better.
Didn't you? Isn't that not... You don't want to get knocked out of the championship if you've got a better play?
That's what you'll feel like. I think that's what people will feel like at that point.
That's a trap you should avoid. That's what I'm saying.
Here we go.
It's the Shudderwock.
Tickled me the Elemental Might was actually alive for a second there because there was an Elemental on the board, but it was their opponents.
That Shudderwock is huge here. That's big health on the Shudderwock. It's Hagatha, and it summons the Annoyatrons to put up a defensive wall here.
And a tickling Hagatha's theme.
Dimly lit.
And quite frankly, it's kind of all he's got. Oh, he's going for Swamp Queen. I feel like you're just dead if Swamp Queen doesn't do anything. And even if it does, it has to do something pretty magnificent because it costs mana to play the Battlecry minion next turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
What he can be sure of, or at least almost certain of, if he plays Shudderwock, he's just not dead next turn. But maybe he thinks he needs something more than Shudderwock can give. Nope, never mind. Just gonna go for it.
Oh, that's the bad order. Loses his Divine Shields.
Flame Strike gonna unlock the door for Bloodyface to kick it through anyway. With these 7 attack minions. And does he just leave Shudderwock and just say, well, have your 6 attack?
I mean, well, Flame Strike push damage here is a little bit scary from Bloodyface's position because it means he's very close to just losing the board in play. If he loses the board, it doesn't matter how much damage he's pushing. His deck doesn't push damage unless it keeps board.
He can always stay a minion ahead though, right? In a lot of circumstances. Because Shudderwock does beat the 2 7 attack minions, the Grave Horrors, but it can only attack once unless it gains Wind Fury, obviously.
Right, but, you know, trade one of your minions, play another minion of your own.
Yeah,
you know,
but you can catch up with Astromancer. Another Dragon's Draw on this roster.
I don't think there's a better option. I'm just saying this is not as good a position as Bloodyface would want to be in right now.
Rain of Toads is going to make things pretty spicy for Hunterace. Oh, Rain of Toads into Hex. Did you just eat a marshmallow? If only Totemic Might didn't only target totems. Shudderwock could live.
I mean, he has the Earthen Might.
I'm just thinking of Rain of Toads Hex.
Yeah, mana efficiency, I understand.
I guess, does he even need to play the Rain of Toads this turn?
He can just keep taking clear board.
Apart from pushing damage itself, it doesn't really do much. It's not blocking minions that aren't there, so... Maybe the one Earthen Might, is it?
Does this go on the Shudderwock?
Oh,
Yes, it
okay,
does.
Witch's Brew does the same,
Yep.
Well, it does better. Okay. Hunterace is piecing this together. I'm becoming a believer right now. Oh. Well, maybe not. Will only be a 3 drops, though.
2 3 drops is very unimpressive.
Maybe you just play the without card. 1 4 drop.
1 4 drop versus 2 3 drops. Yeah,
close.
it's not a big difference, is it?
I wonder.
Because then you could also taunt up if it helped in any way, put a 2-3 on the board as well, maybe. Because Bloodyface needs to close out this game soon, because he's doing what happened in the previous game and running out of juice again.
Yep.
My calculations are flawless.
Gonna just get the 4 drop.
You get a hat, and you get a hat.
Not great. I'm gonna play anything else, just drop the ping. The Toad does soak up some damage, but...
Oh, Ziliax is huge. Ziliax Earthen Might even is available here.
Okay, so... Hunterace...
Oh!
has probably won this game. Okay, I'll finish what I was gonna say. I was, for a second, thinking about Swamp Queen Hagatha, just because it's a relatively safe turn to play it, because you're on enough health, you're going to have stuff on the board, and you can get that live for the following turn. But, yes, this turn was pretty sweet too.
And this is what I was scared of. Again, this is not a criticism. I don't think there was a better play available than Flame Strike push damage. It's just, Bloodyface is just really scrambling to stay ahead on this board now.
Geddon doing a surprisingly good job.
Yep.
Okay, Hagatha Feral Spirit, yeah.
It looks like a Swamp Queen turn to me.
Get that value in right now. You gain a 5-5, you gain another 5-5 that actually does some spells and stuff. And then also the Feral Spirit to back it up looks fantastic to me.
Draw a card is a little sketchy at this position.
Second Walking Fountain in the deck.
There's also a real world where this is a fatigue game.
Can we get a spell check? Lava Burst, Lightning Storm with a... Okay, thank you. Mossy Horror's time to shine against the Control Shaman. Although, is it just a bait? Would be better versus Rain of Toads.
Very true.
Also, Crowd Roast is kind of unplayable here because it could snipe the Swamp Queen, but then the 2 damage it takes from Geddon opens it up to just a trade from the other Feral Spirit.
But the other Feral Spirit doesn't live, right? Because you ping it if you're playing...
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, you're right. I didn't know if there's going to be any other development along with that, but no, that's way, way, way better. Even so, the Lava Burst Lightstorm pick would be pretty sick if that was the turn.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I feel like Crowd Roaster is the play. It looks better than Mossy Horror here to me.
You've got to do something.
What to do?
Oh, what about Mossy Horror? Taunt up the Mossy Horror and go face with the 7-5.
Sure. Actually, I kind of like
Just
that.
try and kill him. Try and kill him quick.
I kind of like that, yeah. This goes on the far right. Yeah, I like this play. It's not going to work out that well based on the Drossville Horror that was picked up.
You got to get him though, aren't you?
But I do, yeah. I like it in theory.
Oh, probably about as late as the scheme could be drawn to have strong relevance in this game, I would say. Any later and you're really running low, but with the cards that Hunterace has available, this Just for Horror, and even just the Soul of the Murlocs to back it up, he can heal Hagatha up as well.
Yep.
With the Ancestral Healing. This is slipping and slipping and slipping away from Bloodyface here. And it's, I'll be honest, shocking to me that we've talked about Mage for the whole weekend and week leading up to this, and it looks like Mage is the one that's going to feel like it's suffered in this series. There's even just a... Okay, not going to, I don't think, but he could probably even just play Witch's Brew to heal the minion up if they're just thinking that the Hagatha might die in some respect. I'm going to extremes, but I'm just saying I think Hunterace is safe enough to do it, because how does he ever get hit again this game? Like with the minions he has, Reign of Toads as well. It's just, it feels unlikely at this point.
I see a vision in the
As always, mage spells can be pretty good. Blizzard,
gas.
Tome of Intellect is kind of gas.
He needed better gas.
It's tough though.
He needed some of that premium unleaded.
No diesel.
Just another Conjurer's Calling or a Power of Creation. Something to make that Khadgar be really explosive.
Maybe even a Book of Spectres just to draw his... Because I don't...
Whoa.
He can't play the fatigue game. He's going to lose this in the fatigue game. So maybe he draws his deck and says, right, I need to go in. Go. Either way, going for Ray of Frost. I think the plan here is, yeah, to crowd roast into Ray of Frost was my initial thought as well.
Sure.
Again, as good as you're going to get. Next turn, he can actually trade in Dragon Ball Scorcher and open up a 7 damage attack with the Roaster. Sorry, Scorcher, Roaster. I'm mixing up my words. Omega Defender, though. Probably not needed this turn. I also... Okay, I'm thinking. Maybe after seeing the crowd roaster, you do play the Omega Defender? Because you know it's very now unlikely to get sniped. He's played 2 roasters, right?
Yep.
So if the crowd roaster trades into this Omega Defender, well, Omega Defender gave you a spell. Like, why not?
Sure, I like this.
Well, my point is, oh wow.
I feel like this was just the Reign of Toads time.
I thought you might want a Reign of Toads Soul of the Murloc.
What do the 1/1s do?
Damage.
Fine. 1 damage each.
But also, Hunterace might just be on the plan to just say, I'm just going to run you out of minions.
Uh-huh. Isn't Reign of Toads on curve more effective at doing that?
I'm not sure. This just straight up kills the crowd roaster. Reign of Toads doesn't. Not necessarily, because you can imagine there's more minions coming afterwards. Seeing a look at these Murlocs.
Uh-huh.
Let's build a Paladin.
Bloodyface is dismissive to those Murlocs, as Dorian was. Giggling Inventor yet again. It's such a good wall against this deck. They just have nothing.
Thinking just Reign of Toads, Brew.
Perplexing.
Because again, although I think Hunterace is doing well here, I don't think he'll be in a position to more than realistically spend full mana on Brew. And not get hit for that much back.
Really? If he Giggling Inventors this turn, preemptively ships the 2 1/1s into the 7/3, do you not think he can potentially have a really greedy Witch's Brew turn the turn after?
I'm worried that the second he does a greedy turn is he lets Bloodyface have the board again. And I don't know if he needs to do that.
But Bloodyface has 2 cards, and Hunterace knows one of them is Ray of Frost. What's he going to do to him?
Maybe you're right. Gonna go the other way and go Reign of Toads instead. Can play the Witch's Brew.
And it does go with your play.
Yeah. Hunterace agrees with me, so.
Yeah?
Man.
I'm sticking with the Giggling line. Call me greedy.
You're greedy.
Thank you.
Oh.
We're going to live in the results-oriented world. You'd have a giggling event to write down right now. That 7-1, that 7-2 would be a 7-1. There would only be 3 sources of damage, so one of the 1-2s would even live this turn, take care of this board, and at most there'd be 6 damage in play the next turn.
Doesn't this stop the crowd roaster getting value trade into, well, say value trade, a trade into Conjurers? Because there's one Conjurer's card left, right?
There was no trade. He couldn't trade it because you shipped the 2 Murlocs in first, so it's a 7-1.
Oh, wait. So you put them both into the roaster.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. I'm back with you. I also think you might just want to get these toads out of the way first because of the overload. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, I'm living in results-oriented world, which is not a good argument by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh. You know what's not a good argument? 4-3 Twilight Drake.
Just isn't.
And this looks like, on paper, a bad draw, but it's 2 mana draw a spell.
Yeah.
Like, it's just good. Just stuff to do is good for Hunterace right now.
Yeah. And this scheme is building up now.
Yeah. So even with a last-ditch push, there's only 5 cards left for Bloodyface, and there's one scheme that probably kills all 5 cards if played it together. Oh, that's a good one too.
I really feel like Hunterace could have sequenced these last 2 plays in a way that ends up with him having so much more health from his Witch's Brew.
But does he even need it? Was the core of my point.
More is always more, Raven.
But he's spending his mana doing other stuff.
Yes,
and
no,
if he never
okay.
has 10 mana to Witch's Brew this game, then it was pointless.
Good point. It's the next coming turns that kind of dictates whether that line was going to go. Oh! Oh, jeez.
Can we get a Hagatha scheme check? I believe it's going to be 5 from what I can see just in the little corner.
It's 5.
Thank you. It is 5. 100% confirmation. Bloodyface assuming the position of, oh wait, maybe I can win this.
What to do?
Is that the, without just duplicating the same minion, is that the most possible stats he could have got from 5 drops?
Almost certainly, yes.
What just happened?
Bloodyface might have turned this game around. Remember, Sol, we're watching Mage. It does stuff. What? I'm just joining in with the crowd at this point, Sol, I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
I am now just... Forget casting, I'm just a viewer now. Okay, forgetting casting was boring, I couldn't speak. So, Haunted Visions looks like a reasonable place to start as any, unless he wants to Reign of Toads with Mind Control tech and go full taunt mode.
You can do that anyway. Even if you want
sorry, reduces the Reign of Toads, of course, yeah. Yeah, I think he needs to, find something.
Go fishing, find some help. Send help. The crowd just really want to see a Stormbringer.
Yeah, same. I'm now back in the crowd again. Farsight, though, does look good. But I think he is going to play the Reign of Toads this
MCT
turn.
Reign of Toads, yeah.
Wait a minute. Reign of Toads summons minions, Sol.
I mean, not that many when you already have 3 in play, but sure, we'll take it.
What if he gets another Reign of Toads? Oh, this game of Hearthstone. Bear in mind, though.
11 mana Harrison Jones.
Well, bear in mind, Bloodyface is recovering.
Yeah.
But those minions are still 5 drops, so this Conjurer's Call in.
It's not mind blowing. It's not
only gets worse, right?
That's
from this
true.
point,
That's
it's
true.
only worse. It's either on a 4 drop,
or
on 5 drops that have to give you worse minions outside of Reckless Rocketeer. Is the good one, which is obviously situation dependent. But can Bloodyface, outside of a very low health bear, realistically Conjurer's Call in any of this? Is this actually just going to be ping? Trade, pass. He literally can't play Harrison. So, I don't think you can get... These minions are too good. And the damage, 4 health.
Runs out on me.
Wait, there's nothing higher unless more bears, right? To beat Scheme, I'll say.
No, and I'm pretty sure that's the highest health 5 drop, right?
What, 5? I mean, except for bears, is there a higher health 5 drop that the 7/4s now could be morphed into?
No.
There isn't, right?
No.
Oh, another Farsight. This card draw just too late in the game. There is still Swampoos to generate something. So he can kill all but one bear, right? He just trades into one scheme.
Yes, correct.
Trades into the 11 health, of course.
Scheme now at 6.
And he can still play the Ooze to help. And it's funny, and it's kind of tough, right? Because it does then open up a second Conjurer's Calling on the remaining bear. But that could whiff. That could backfire.
It's about the last push that Bloodyface is going to have left as well.
This game is so close. He's going to do it.
And he keeps a 1-2 taunt as well.
I can play this Ooze behind it.
Right.
Which this spell's going to be huge. Maybe even game-breaking. Hex!
Oh!
That'll do. Or at least that'll help.
Sunfear Protector. Is there a Rabble Bouncer left in Bloodyface's deck?
I want to say yes.
Rabble
Here we go.
Rabble Bouncer Ziliax? Is that his deck?
4/4 and a 5/5. Definitely not bad. And there's... I think you just dump Harrison.
Yeah.
Kill him. Kill him quick. Before he does other crazy things.
Walking Fountain. Walking Fountain is remaining for Hunterace.
And he has an Ancestral Healing.
And he has 2 Farsights in his hand. And he will have 2 cards left in his deck.
He can guarantee the draw. But if he spends them both...
It doesn't work off the second one.
Yeah, he needs to get it off the first one because it will go down to 5 mana, but he will spend 6 using Farsight. If he gets it off the first one, though, the big key here is Ancestral Healing, which means he can do trades and then heal it back up and say, now what, Mr. Bloodyface? This game is nuts. And if anything truly nutty comes out, then he's looking good. Look, Harrison Jones. Walking Fountain beats the Nightblade and the Harrison Jones. You can then Hex the Liam, and then you've got a 2/3 to worry about at the moment.
Shields up.
And there's Ooze still on board, actually, which will sort of beat the 2/3, but will now die to pings. This game, there it is.
Look at the play that Bloodyface made, though, to beat this exact eventuality.
I don't know the last 2 cards in the deck. I'm so upset.
Sun Fury'd the Liam so that the Walking Fountain was as weak as possible of a draw for Hunterace. You saw his autopilot took over for a second. As we started talking about Harrison Jones, he picked up Harrison Jones, then stopped and went, hang on, Bloodyface, this is the World Championships. Don't just autopilot playing your biggest minion. Think about it.
I like this as well. This is just setting up. It's a little bit delayed, but Hex the 5/5 now, then Walking Fountain next turn.
Mind Control Tech's one of the cards.
I play it?
Yes.
I think he just has to dump it all, right? He needs to set up a lethal for next turn. Oh. Well, that's not a good one. Again, let's remember though, every minion is a spell. It's another scheme.
He needs things that generate minions, I think. Unless this Walking Fountain is just enough to get there. It does continue to challenge. It beats the 3 minions that we're seeing at the moment. I think this last card is either a Ziliax or a Rabble Bouncer. Oh, it's an Astromancer.
2-drop. And he kind of has to play it,
That's
right?
why he's been holding cards in hand as well.
Okay, so questions now is, 1, honestly don't know what the last card in Hunterace's deck is. We'll find out very soon. But is there a world that the Walking Fountain does enough to make the Acolyte of Pain a playable card because the spell will be better than the pings that Bloodyface can do to make him overdraw? I don't even know.
I find that very unlikely.
Okay.
But yeah, if Hunterace doesn't find stuff that generates minions
HCT.
here, okay. But he needs this card. I think he needs this spell off the Mind Control Tech to generate minions for him somehow. Because otherwise, he's going to be forced into a status quo where he uses his removal to deal with this wave of minions that Bloodyface plays, or this wave of minions plus 1 more that Bloodyface plays from his hand, and then Bloodyface has Final Minion this game, and Final Minion always wins in Fatigue.
Also, funnily enough, if Hunterace takes the 2 value trades, then Bloodyface
Go face scheme? Is that the plan?
I mean, Fatigue's the thing, actually. He's just healed for 8. And this has to be traded into. There are no spells that get rid of this.
Go face pass.
He wants him to play more stuff, because this has to be traded into. So some of these minions die, the rest gets replayed. Wait, 1 minion dies. And if he replays both, then it means he can MCT. Does Bloodyface know
There's
MCT
no way.
is the
There's
last
no way
card?
Bloodyface plays 2. There's no way he plays 2 minions.
Okay, so he knows. People forget things, Sol. So now scheme clears.
I think, no, but what I'm saying is, even in an MCT-less world, I don't think you play all your minions here because there's so many random Hagatha cards. I think you need to try and save something to beat one more random AoE that can come down.
So now the question is, do they know each other's hand apart from the spells? Scheme?
I mean, Hunterace, this is locked up. He's so far ahead in Fatigue now, it's going to be Mind Control Tech versus Mind Control Tech. No, it's not. The 5-1 lives.
Harrison lives.
The 5-1 lives. I thought the scheme was at 4.
Witch's
I
Brew!
apologize.
Witch's Brew! The Mind Control Tech will kill the Harrison because there's just a ping and it doesn't beat it.
Yeah.
So then the Witch's Brew will out-heal, along with their Walking Fountain attack to face, the damage that the Mind Control Tech from Bloodyface will be able to do to him off the back of this insane game.
He just took 2 that turn, correct? Bloodyface did?
I believe so.
So 3, 4, 5 will kill him. He has 3 more turns to live. Mind Control Tech plus Hunterace's Fatigue does not do that through a Witch's Brew.
And ever the prophet, there is going to be potentially a full 10 mana Witch's Brew played this game.
But apparently, Final Minion does not always win in Fatigue.
You're a liar. Oh, what? Oh, it's so insane. A nod from Hunterace. He knows. He knows.
Does that change the clock? Does going face there change the clock?
Versus a Witch's Brew? He takes 3 more next turn, so he takes 6 next turn, puts himself to 12. And he can Witch's Brew all the way up.
Nah, he's good. He's good. He's good.
Wow. The nod from Hunterace gives me belief. He knew this was happening.
Yep. Sorry, Bloodyface, you're about to get the bad news that there is a Witch's Brew in your future. And there is the concession coming out. It's a brutal way to go down, but it's an incredible game to go out on. Bloodyface, my friend, you have made a lot of friends and a lot of